Good morning. Hi. Hi, everyone. um, it's been a little bit of a crazy morning here, so I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. I haven't had a chance to receive any wisdom yet today, so I'm going to get that while we're here and while we're together. So um, let me just breathe for a minute. and gosh, there's been so much awareness lately of um, more aspects of truth coming out. And, um, it's interesting because there's been a worldwide rush, I want to say, right? Over the last 50 years, really, of what some people refer to as conspiracy theories. And, you know, what they're showing me is um, now it's time for the truth to come out. And this is what humanity has been preparing for, right? We've been preparing to receive more truth. And it's not always comfortable to receive truth, right? We as humans, if you think about something in your life, right, that you don't really want to know the answer to. You want the answer, but you don't really want to know because you know that once you start that ball rolling, once you start that movement towards truth, you can't ever go back to that place where you didn't know. And there's an awareness that, ignorance is bliss, right? It's what I don't know, I don't have to deal with yet. And that is a powerful thing to choose. And it's powerful to go both ways. And it's understanding and recognizing that even those who are not yet choosing to see as much truth as possible, right? Because if you think about it, no one's really seeing all the truth. It's impossible because of the lives we've been born into and the way we've been raised. It's impossible to see every bit of truth in every moment because our perceptions are based on our beliefs. And your belief system has been in it's been being created since the moment you were conceived. And so it's recognizing that the world that you're living in is one that you've created. And yet it has the possibility to change at any point. Anxiety. So there's depression and there's anxiety. And anxiety is what happens when we we know there's truth that we have access to, but we're not yet ready to embrace it. And that's, that's a massive awareness when you can understand that you really are the master of your destiny. And self mastery isn't about self recognition of recognizing how great you are. It's about recognizing all the beliefs leading up to this moment that brought you here, recognizing that there are some that it's now time to get rid of, to move on from, and there's some that new ones that need to be embraced. That's really the journey of awakening, the journey of reaching a state of consciousness, right? Because full consciousness is being in a state of always being aware of the truth, having full access to all levels of awareness. That's consciousness. There is zero expectations, there's zero judgment, there is zero emotional reaction to what is. And, for me, truth is everything that's ever been experienced in existence, period. That's truth. There's everything that's ever existed has a vibrational stamp, an energetic stamp of when it happened in the universe. Why it happened, how it happened, who did it, how they did it, all the details. There's nothing that's hidden. And so when we are able to resurrect our ability to be in a conscious state, you recognize that you have access to every bit of information in existence that you could possibly want or need. But that's how humans were created. You were specifically designed to have access to this information. Why? Because evolution depends on it. And this entire universe, the whole intention was to see what's possible. Well, what do you need? You need evolution. You need abled, conscious participants who are going to participate in evolution. Well, what does that mean? That means that you have to understand who you are and what you're capable of. And so those who came in to manipulate this experience knew that if they the one thing that if they took it away, if they took away your ability, your knowledge of who you are, your wisdom, your ability to access all the information, right? Because this is the other thing, right? The education system teaches us you have a bunch of knowledge in your head, right? You collect it from information you read, books you read. But that's not how it works, right? So all of that information that I was talking about, right? It's an energetic stamp, it's an imprint that is now in the archives of existence. Okay? And so what happens is you have access to all of it. But in understanding that, right, like that's the part that they wanted to take away, really. Because if you don't know that you have access to it, then you don't know who you are. It's when you have access to all of that awareness, you know everything about not only your history and your family's history, but the entire history of the human race. You have the understanding of what is new and revolutionary and what is just redundant. Because 90% more, 90, they're showing me like 98 to 99% of creations that are coming out of humanity, right? They're all redundant. They've all been done before. And none of them are revolutionary. Nothing is brand new. And that's the point, right? Because humanity was created to evolve, to see what we're capable of, which means every human needs to know who they are. And that's the goal, right? That's the goal with these live broadcasts. That's the goal with everything that I do. It's about restoring your awareness of who you are. And what the creator wants to help you understand today is, you know, it's like reaching inside of you. He's showing me it's two hands reaching inside of you and pulling that wisdom out and showing you that it's been inside of you the entire time. You've never been separated from your wisdom, from yourself. And this is really important to understand because when you start to identify as who you are rather than who you've been taught to be, then what happens is you become powerful, right? You cannot be controlled and manipulated when you know who you are. The only time you can be controlled and manipulated is when you don't understand who you are. You don't have self-recognition. And self-recognition, self-recognition, what I'm talking about is not on the, I've done these things and I have all these degrees and these certificates and, I've done whatever it is. It doesn't matter. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is an awareness of where you came from and why you were created in the first place, right? Because humans are they're significant. You are magnificent in your design and your creation, right? The creator is saying that. And he's saying, you know, not because he needed anything from you. It's really important to understand, right? I think it was last week we were talking about judgment and the fact that there's no such thing as a judgment day. What he wants you to understand is, the intention of life and existence in your life was for you to come and play and explore what you're capable of. Try all the things and, keep going in the directions that interest you. Why? Because when they interest you, that means you're going to do things people haven't done in that area, right? That's what you were designed to do. We weren't designed to do the same thing over and over and over again, right? It's not how humans were created. So it's important that you understand that your restlessness, your feelings of inadequacy, they don't come because you did something wrong. They're there because you know who you are and you just can't find your way back to that knowing in the fullness of the way it's meant to be. Okay? And so your job right now, right? Our job as a human race is to brace for what's coming and to embrace the truth in a way that allows us to continue to grow because we've been taught to fear truth. How many times, have you gone into situations, or maybe right now you're going through something and you're like, I don't really want to know the truth because once I know the truth, I'm going to have to change something about my life or something about my family's life, something about my work, whatever it is, right? And we live in a culture where not only is it acceptable to fear truth, we live in a world where that's supported. So if you call your friends and you're like, oh gosh, I know this is happening, your friends are going to say, it's okay, you don't have to go there yet. You don't have to look at it. But if you're thinking it, if you're feeling it, if it is in your face, in your space, you are ready and you are meant to be looking at it. You are meant to be accepting. That's what we're on this journey, is accepting that nothing in this world that we're living in is as it seems. It's so far from how humans were created to exist, and I'm going to say it again, we've been taught that ancient humans were archaic, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Right now, with our inability to access all of the information that we need to make the choices that we're meant to make so that we can actually participate in our own evolution. And then, because only once we participate in our own evolution are we then contributing to universal evolution, which is the intention of the creation of humanity itself. So in order for you to restore your awareness, your level of participation, it's recognition that right now we're at this place of accepting truth. And, in, back in, what was it, 2021, December 2021, on the solstice in December, this entire universe had, for the last billions and billions of years, been based on the vibration. So it was based on it. And then it had other universal energies in it. But it was based on the vibration of universal love. The problem was that there's too many misconceptions that this world now has of what love is. Love is its embodiment of self. And, you know, what what the world came to understand as love, right, is so far from that. And so the creator recognized and knew that in December, that he would need to make a change. And so he did. And he created a shift, and the entire universe became based on truth, the vibration of truth, universal truth. So I'm not going to go too far into that. I do talk a lot about that in our private community in the Authentic Human Collective. If you are interested, we actually talk about them, but we also explore them, and we actually experience the sacred ceremony. You can go back and experience all of them. They're still just as potent as they were the day we did them 3, 4 years ago. Um, but that being said, the reason that I'm bringing this up is because truth is foundational to our success in where we're going. In order to restore your awareness of self, you need to be able to embrace truth. And as a human race in the society that we're living in, with the rules that we're living in, all the lies that we've been told, truth is the hardest thing to accept. That's why he made it the foundation. Okay. And then in December 2022, he added in transparency. Now, transparency is not, oh, we're going to tell you everything because strategically, right? If you look at the rest of the world, it's not. They use transparency as we're going to tell you that this is everything, but we're going to be doing something else over here that isn't what you think it is. So, but transparency on a universal level is not about weeding out what other people are doing and how they're lying. Transparency is about you no longer being able to lie to yourself. And the reason, and so this was December 2022. And if you start to look at these universal events and then go back and look at the news events, the main ones that happened throughout that year and what unfolded, right? First for truth and then for transparency. It's understanding that, excuse me, that we're we're learning. We're learning as an entire global occupancy, right? Of what it takes and what we're going to need to do. And there's a lot of us who are fighting back because we don't want to see truth. And it's fascinating because we see the biggest culture shock, right? So our culture is founded on judgment, and everything about it is founded on judgment. If you look at all four of the four pillars that ensure that we stay um, beholden, if you will, to these illusions, right? The medical, the financial, the education, and the religious systems are all based on judgment, every single one of them. And you need to prove yourself to then no, you're literally walking in the doors, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, it doesn't matter, but into any one of those systems, you're walking through their doors knowing you're going to be judged on the other end and regularly judged. Okay. And so you're going in with the intention of how can I please? How can I prove? How can I perform? And what happens is you stop wanting to see the truth because you believe that truth is a result of someone judging you. It's a result of someone telling you how good or bad you are, what you did was wrong, why it was wrong. That's not truth. Truth isn't, it's not the word they're using, it's corrosive, right? That judgment, it's corrosive. It has a life of its own and it gets in and it gets underneath and it festers and it feeds and it picks up what anyone wants to throw at it. Truth doesn't do that. Truth is pure, it's beautiful, and more than anything, it's simple. It's so simple. And when you feel it and you see it, it's so clear, and all the pieces fall into place. Whether it's things that you've been doing that you're going to continue doing because you're like, yes, that works. Or maybe it's things that you're doing that you're like, whoa, now I see what I was causing to myself or to others. But there's no judgment. Truth just is magnificent. it's embodying, it's awe-inspiring. Even those moments where the situation may seem devastating, it's recognizing that it's not the truth that's devastating. It's the circumstances and the fact that you're seeing what someone else did and their intentions. That person is, and their intentions, their actions are devastating. But truth isn't. It's allowing yourself to break up with the illusion that truth hurts, right? Truth is humble, it's kind, it's beautiful, and it's powerful. Because when you allow yourself to embrace truth, you get to experience freedom. Because when you see the truth, you see where there was illusions and where there was lies, whether you were maintaining someone else's lies, whether you told yourself a lie, doesn't matter how the lie came to be. Okay, the point is, when the truth is there, the lies cease to exist, and there's no burden anymore, the vibration of carrying that burden. Because even when we may be walking around completely oblivious to an aspect of who we're being and how we're participating in life, okay? And even if you're completely oblivious and all of a sudden it comes up and it's in your face and now you see it. The moment you see it, even if you have to change massive aspects of your life, you're working to that freedom. You're changing your life because it's now going to be based more on truth than ever before. And that's the goal. That's the whole point of your existence, right? And that's why they changed and added in that aspect of no longer hiding from yourself. So transparency. And then in December 2023, they added in purity. Why? Because purity is about communication. And number one, it's about how you communicate with yourself. Why does truth and transparency and purity need to go together? Now you can start to see. We're building a new foundation for human existence. And that foundation needs to be based on the original intention of human existence in the first place. That's what we're restoring. We're restoring that awareness with all the experiences that all the easy for me to say, with all the experiences that we've had in between. Why? Because we're on the fifth iteration of humanity. Okay? Human existence on the planet. This is just Earth, okay? And you know, it's funny because when people talk about ancient civilizations, and so ancient humans were not civilized. And what I mean by that is, right, we are taught that civilization is evolution. And it's not. Civilization is just becoming more of really a slave to the physical limitations. And so original humans, we didn't have our addiction to, well, we didn't need to live within the physical world that we live in now, right? We didn't eat, we didn't we didn't take from the land. We lived in balance and in connection with it. We were in conscious awareness and constant conscious connection. We knew what it needed and it knew what we needed, and we worked in balance and we existed. It's hard for the human mind to grasp those concepts that are so far out of reach, right? Because even thinking about it this way, right? We didn't have clothes, but your brain eventually, like as soon as you hear those words, the instant you're thinking is we walked around naked, but we weren't really walking. And we weren't naked in the sense of how we are now, because now our physical bodies, we experience them completely differently, right? We experience the sensations of cold and hot to a detriment because, again, they're based on fears, right? We used to have the capacity to to enjoy the experiences of the planet, whether it was snow, whether it was rain, whether it was heat and sun. All of these parts of human existence they're not a part of civilization. They're a part of human existence, but we've adapted to civilization. We haven't evolved. And that's really important to understand that distinction. We've adapted, okay? That's civilization. Evolution is continuing to experience new and try new things and, explore potential and possibility, right? It's an understanding that where we are as humans, there's no going back. We can't go back because there's nothing to go back to, right? With evolution, it's always about moving forward. And the only way we can accomplish our goals, okay? So when I say that, what they're showing me is our goals as human souls coming into human bodies right now, okay? So our goals are to resurrect human existence and to, it's funny. For months, a few months ago, I kept hearing, make humanity great again, make humanity great again. And I'm like, okay, it sounds like a political pitch, but it's recognition that we can't go back because we're not meant to. What we are meant to do is extract the wisdom and universal awareness of the past, of all the past, right from the beginning, before, right, we became labeled. And the labels really started in civilization. And so we need to extract the wisdom from before then and bring it to the present, combine it with our knowledge of who we are now and what we're meant to be doing, because we have that awareness as well from a soul level and a universal perspective. And we're meant to combine them and move forward. And so, this year is the year of purity. And, we spent from January to May exploring all the concepts of purity and the aspects of it in the collective, which is it was fun. It's just fun to do because I want to know all the parts. I want to know all the pieces that are going on because for me, I love to be aware. I want to know what's going on beyond my mind and beyond the limits. The thing is every time you learn something, you're coming up against one of your beliefs. You have to be willing to break down those beliefs to go into that place of now you can actually learn something more. And so, right now, what he wants you to know, what the creator really wants you to know and understand is truth is your best friend. We don't want to fear truth anymore. You want to embrace it. And the entire message for today, for this week, is boldly embrace and recognize the truth in your life and start to feel how truth fits. Even though it's uncomfortable, knowing that you have to go to it, maybe you have to have a conversation you don't want to have, or maybe you need to approach a project or do something, and all the things. It doesn't matter. Wherever truth needs to come into your life, just set your intention that you're ready for more truth. You're ready to embrace it. Because when you embrace it, you become stable. And what I mean by stable is vibrationally, okay, on a universal level, your energy becomes stable, which means that when you hear more truth, it's going to come in more easily. When you hear lies and illusions and non-truth, you're going to have that much more awareness instantly. That's what I mean by stable. It means that when other people want to know about truth, you're going to have the ability to share it, not because you're going to slap them with it, but because you're going to hold that space for them to approach it with confidence because you're comfortable in truth. So that's That's your goal this week, guys. And I want you to just explore it, feel it, have fun with it. You know, remember that the truth, yes, it will set you free. Yes, but it's your friend. It's part of who you are. It's how you were created to exist in this world. And it's coming. All the truth is going to come out sooner than later. And so the sooner you make really good friends with truth, and have it be your foundation, the sooner you're going to experience the abundance of the entire universe. Thank you so much for tuning in, for listening, and please let me know how you're feeling about all of these conversations. And we'll keep going. I love you. Have a great day. Bye for now.